It doesn't matter what your toxic positive friend on CS Career Question says that's crying that they can't get a job for the past 3 years. There's a technical bar, and you're going to need to grind to be able to pass it. If that means memorizing what an array is, I'm sorry, you're going to need to memorize what an array is. If an interviewer comes up to you and says, what's an array, and you're stuttering and mumbling and sweating and you're puking on the interviewer, you're not going to get anywhere. Do you know what an array is?
Array, yeah. It just store integers, numbers, strings into like a data into a list.
And complaining on Discord or CS Career Questions, it's not going to help. This whole notion that software engineering shouldn't be gatekept is kind of BS as well. That's like saying everybody can be a doctor. Doctors don't need to be gatekept. No, you can just take your time and learn, and doctors don't need help. Just Google it in the mid-surgery, bro. Just ask ChatGPT what you should do with a guy who's bleeding out on the table with open heart surgery. Just ChatGPT it, bro. You don't need to know anything. So this whole toxic positivity really rubs me the wrong way. And it gets on my nerves. Because hard subjects should have barriers to entry that are hard. Because they need to filter out candidates that don't have the grit, fortitude, or dedication. I'm not even talking about passion. I totally get it if you're in software engineering to collect a check and go play Call of Duty. That's totally fine. In fact, I think most software engineers are like that. But most software engineers know their shit. Okay? They're competent. There's a difference between being competent and passionate and being competent. Being competent is the minimum technical bar, and I have no problem with competent developers. I love competent developers. So when people say, oh, being passionate's bullshit, I'm just there to collect a check and just Google and ChatGPT, those people, they're not going to make it. You can be competent and be ambivalent to your job and not really care, and that's totally fine. You get the stuff done, you clock out at 5, you're gone. That's totally fine. You don't need to be passionate and be there till 1 a.m. burning the midnight oil with a sleeping bag, and you're bringing your dog to the office, and Elon Musk can get 90 hours a week. That's not what being passionate's about. Being passionate's about taking your job outside of your work and studying and growing and pushing yourself so you can be at the tip of the spear. Some developers want to do that, some don't. Some developers need to do that, others don't. Right? Some developers can literally know the one framework for their whole life, and if that's what they want to do, that's fine. But this whole idea that you don't need to know anything, and you can just Google everything, and don't worry, bro, you've been unemployed for 3 years, keep going, this level of toxic positivity, it's total crap in my opinion. Because the guy that's telling you to keep going, he's not paying your bills. He's not sitting there and funding you to keep going. You need to put food on the table. You need bread in your children's mouth. You don't need that one dude on CS Career Question that's 400 pounds, a Discord Reddit mod, telling you to keep going because it makes himself feel better. That he's some like moral, useful dude. You know? So if you're watching this and you're a student, and you're thinking to yourself, how can I not be the guy that's not competent? I'm not even saying be the competent, passionate guy. I'm just saying, how do I make sure that I'm the competent guy and not the non-competent guy? Delete ChatGPT. Watch these videos to know what sort of questions you may or may not be asked in an interview. Don't cheat. Focus on your studies so that when people start gatekeeping, you can break those gates and you can become a gatekeeper. In my opinion, this is a controversial opinion. We need more gatekeepers in software engineering. We need more people that look candidates straight in the eyes and say, if you don't know what a JSON file is and you're a 5th-year software engineering student, you're done. You're done. Okay, do you know what a JSON file is?
Damn. Dude, I should know this. We literally went over this last semester.
It's okay if you don't know, that's fine.
Yeah.
In general, if you're like in your 5th year and you're unsure what a JSON file is, essentially you're cooked. I don't know what's been going on, but if you're relying on your professor to teach you what a JSON file is in your 4th year of school, you're cooked. I knew what a JSON file was in grade 7 in my elementary school Excel programming or business analytics class. Okay, it wasn't grade 7, it was like grade 9, high school, but you guys get the point. I had an obese teacher named Miss Rosen. She barely knew how to turn on the computer, but she taught us Excel. And she taught us what a CSV file was. So, if you're an Amazon software engineering intern and you don't know what a CSV file is, that's a wake-up call.
What sort of data did you work with? JSON, XML, CSV?
I believe it was CSV. Yeah.
What
But
does CSV stand for? Do you know?
No.
Okay. How does a CSV file look? Because you said you worked with the CSV, right?
I'm pretty sure it was Andes. I thought maybe like CSV and Andes aren't the same.
That's a get up and start grinding, because not just grinding lead code, grinding actual software engineering experience, because this whole toxic positivity where you can just coast and get a job because having a degree is enough, that doesn't work nowadays. Having a degree is not enough, and I don't think it will ever be enough starting 2020. The days my dad went to school, and my dad's a software engineer, the days he went to school, I asked him, Dad, what was the interview process like? He said they took anybody with a pulse. He said they took anybody that walked past the building that the office was located in. He literally walked past the building, they'd rip you from the street, and they'd throw a keyboard at your face, and they'd say, start coding. That's not how it works nowadays. Having a degree and knowing Fizz, Buzz, and Coco's Bananas is not going to get you anywhere. Somebody has to say it, because there's all these toxic positivity channels and threads and whatever. Keep going, keep going. Sometimes you just got to know when to pack it up. Sometimes you just got to know when to start switching. You need to know when to change things up. Because either you take that piece of signal and you lock in and you say, I'm done with whatever is going on in my life, I'm going to focus entirely on this, or you should find something else to do. Because the last thing software engineering needs is people that can't define an array and need to Google how to explain what a list is. High-paying jobs are hard, and they should be hard to get. They should be hard to get. But people have this notion that, I just have to take a CS degree, and I took C programming last semester, but I can't tell you what malloc does, I can't tell you what it returns, but I'm expecting a high-paying 7-figure job because I was able to solve problems on code forces.
So, you know how malloc, you specify essentially the sizes memory you want to allocate? That's one of the parameters, I believe.
Yeah.
And C isn't my strong suit, right? And that returns what? When you call malloc, what's returned to you?
Well, it will return a -1 if there's an error. So there's that if it's not successful. Pretty sure, doesn't malloc just return 0 if it's successful?
What does malloc do? Let's start there.
Well, it allocates memory.
Okay, so why would it return a number?
Well, generally, it returns like if there's an error in C, you generally return a -1.
So let's say there's no error. Let's say malloc succeeds. What do you get back in return?
Okay. Well, I guess you would say a Boolean then.
It doesn't work that way.